Hello, spirit warriors. They watch you, but they cannot hold you because you've already stepped beyond their reach. Breathe in this moment deeply, for what you're about to hear is not mere chance or fear. It is sacred truth awakening within you, a profound calling that transcends ordinary understanding. Think back to those quiet whispers you heard in the stillness of your mind. They were never just your imagination or fleeting thoughts. Those whispers were real. Subtle nudges from the universe, or perhaps from a higher consciousness that knows your true path. The patterns that seem to dance around your life, the repeating signs that caught your attention again and again were never coincidences. They were messages wrapped in mystery, symbols meant to guide you, coming to you like a cosmic language. And the synchronicities, those moments when everything aligns perfectly as if the stars themselves have conspired to light your way. They are divine messages from unseen realms, a confirmation that you are not alone, that your journey is being watched and supported by forces far beyond human comprehension. But who exactly watches you? It's not the ordinary eyes of people who merely glance your way, or even the memories of past acquaintances. You are observed by guardians of secret realms, ancient souls who hold keys to the mysteries beyond our physical world. These are beings attuned to the spiritual frequencies that weave the very fabric of reality. They remain silent and invisible, stirring only when the flow of existence itself shifts. And that shift, that cosmic breakthrough, is embodied in you. You are the catalyst for change, the one who has stepped into a higher vibration where old rules no longer apply. Now, they don't just watch from afar, they seek you out. The individual who moves mountains with silent power, whose influence is subtle but undeniable. Their feelings toward you have evolved from fear or skepticism into awe. You are no longer hidden in the shadows of doubt or limitation. Your light shines with such intensity that it can no longer be ignored. You are becoming a beacon, living proof that transformation and awakening are not only possible but inevitable. There exists a secret known only to those who have truly awakened, that among us are rare souls, non-linear in spirit, who ripple change without uttering a single word. These souls glow with a light that refuses to be contained or dimmed by the world's darkness. If you feel this stirring within you, it's because you are one of these extraordinary beings, a divine anomaly, a miracle walking this earth with a purpose that transcends the ordinary. As you healed from wounds others never saw, they recorded your resilience. While you prayed in solitude, they decoded the spiritual frequencies you emitted. And though you may have believed yourself unseen, you were the heartbeat of invisible worlds, realms that hum with energy and purpose beyond human sight. You were never lost or abandoned. Rather, you were marked from the beginning, chosen to carry a blueprint for a new reality. This blueprint is no ordinary map. It holds the secrets of spiritual evolution, of how to move through life as a force of creation rather than destruction. It shows you how to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with divine energy, turning your inner power into tangible change. It teaches you how to harness the flow of the unseen, to listen deeply to your intuition, and to manifest your highest potential. Now, the watchers no longer desire your silence. They want your blueprint, your story, your wisdom, your light. They want the blueprint you carry because it holds the key to awakening others, to helping the collective rise to new levels of consciousness. Your awakening begins here. This is your call to walk a path illuminated by purpose, courage, and profound connection. Walk with me, spirit warrior, into the unfolding mystery of your divine destiny. Together, we will explore the depths of your power and reveal the sacred truth that has been waiting for you all along. Point 1. You've mastered the art of spiritual resilience. Let's strip away the fluff, spirit warrior, and say it how it really is. Being a chosen one, it's not all divine downloads and mystical awakenings under the stars. It's spiritual boot camp on hard mode. It's being thrown into life's storms with nothing but grit in your bones and purpose in your gut. People see the glow, but never the grind. They see your wisdom, but never the weeping nights. You weren't plucked from the cosmos to live easy. You were sent on assignment to walk through fire, with scars as your credentials and love as your weapon. See, the truth is, spirit warriors are not made in peaceful times. They're forged in spiritual combat. While others crumbled when life struck, you learned to adapt, to stand, to speak, and to heal, even while hurting. That's divine strategy. You're not here because you were the softest or the smartest. You're here because you endured. You didn't fall apart permanently. You evolved. You alchemized every dark moment into deeper wisdom. Every betrayal carved more discernment into your soul. Every spiritual attack taught you precision, how to guard your peace like a sacred temple. And here's the thing. Your strength didn't make you arrogant. It made you silent, controlled, observant. Because real power doesn't need to shout. It just is. Even science backs this up. There's a term for what you've been doing, post-traumatic growth. That's right, psychologists have found that people who face severe trials can come out stronger, more compassionate and more spiritually aligned than ever before. Sound familiar? That's you. While others turned cold and cynical, you chose love again and again. You cried, but you didn't curse your calling. You broke, but you didn't betray your truth. You isolated yourself, not to escape, but to recalibrate, to listen, to heal, to become. And now the shift is happening. The realm of spirit knows what you've been through. They saw the moments when you wanted to quit but whispered, not yet. The top-tier agents, the gatekeepers of divine promotion, are paying attention. They know your file, every sacrifice, every prayer, every time you kept showing up when no one was clapping. That resilience, that silent, steady refusal to fold, that's the signal. That's what marks a spirit warrior, not perfection, but purpose under pressure. So when the world tells you you're too intense, too sensitive, too deep, smile. Those are battle honors. That means you're vibrating at a frequency most people can't even hear. You're walking in alignment. You don't need validation. You are the evidence. Your very existence in truth exposes every lie people hide behind. They feel your energy before you say a word. That's why the gossip starts. That's why they get uncomfortable, because when a spirit warrior enters the room, falsehoods scatter like roaches under light. Keep going. You didn't survive all that pain just to play small. You were built for impact, for change, for spiritual warfare. And your promotion? It's not just coming, it's already unfolding. Quietly, powerfully. Because when you rise, it won't be for show. It'll be for a purpose. Walk with your head high, spirit warrior. The next level is watching. Point 2, your compassion is a superpower. Now let's talk about compassion, the kind that doesn't wear a cape but somehow saves the day anyway. Spirit warrior, you weren't built for the coldness of this world. While society sharpens its claws and celebrates cutthroat behavior, you were designed with an entirely different operating system, one that runs on empathy, soul vision, and divine sensitivity. You don't just walk through life, you feel through it. And let's be clear, this isn't some soft, naive quality. This is spiritual warfare disguised as kindness. When most people see someone struggling, they analyze, gossip, or worse, ignore. But not you. Your spirit clocked into this life with a mission to care, to see, and to respond without needing anything in return. It's not because you were taught this. It's because compassion is encoded in your spiritual DNA. You have what psychologists call high affective empathy, the ability to deeply feel and share in the emotions of others. But yours is not just emotional. Yours is spiritual radar. You pick up on frequencies most people can't even hear. Have you ever walked into a room and just knew someone needed comfort? It's not a coincidence. That's your hugometer going off. A silent alarm that alerts you when a soul is breaking, even if the face is smiling. Science might explain this as mirror neurons, firing in the brain, helping us relate to others' emotions. But for you, it goes deeper than biology. This is soul technology. Spiritual agents, yes, those celestial observers assigned to watch the Earth's energetic field, have seen you do things no one claps for, holding space for someone in pain, speaking life into a weary heart, or offering forgiveness when revenge would have been easier. And let's not pretend this is always easy. Being compassionate in a judgmental world is like offering roses in a battlefield. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be taken for granted. But you do it anyway, because that's who you are. Because deep down you understand something powerful. Healing doesn't come from condemnation, it comes from connection. That simple, sacred connection you create with your compassion. That is what shifts timelines. That is what ripples into the unseen and helps activate another person's light. You see, Spirit Warrior, compassion is a high-frequency energy. Quantum physics shows us that everything vibrates, and higher vibrations, like love, kindness, and empathy, can literally influence lower ones. Your energy, when grounded in compassion, lifts atmospheres. That's why people feel better after talking to you, even if they can't explain why. It's not magic, it's mastery. You're not here to judge others for their mess. You're here to remind them they're more than it. And that's what makes you dangerous to the darkness. Because in a world where it's easy to disconnect, your heart chooses to connect. In a world full of ego noise, your compassion is a sacred silence that speaks louder than judgment ever could. The spiritual realm is taking notes. Every time you showed mercy instead of malice, every time you extended grace instead of gossip, every time you chose to love instead of lashing out, it was recorded. You may not see the rewards instantly, but understand, nothing done in love is ever wasted. Heaven tracks what earth forgets. So, spirit warrior, the next time someone calls you too sensitive or says you care too much, smile gently, because they just confirmed your mission. You weren't sent here to blend in with the hardened hearts. You were sent to crack them open, to lead not with a sword, but with a heart so strong it can absorb pain and still radiate peace. That's not weakness, that's divine strength. That's leadership, that's you. Point 3, you've embraced your inner weirdness. All right, spirit warriors, gather around for a second, because it's time to talk about that magical little word that's followed you around your whole life. Weird. How many times have you heard it? You're weird, you're different. Why do you act like that? At this point, you could probably put it on your resume under special skills, but guess what? That so-called weirdness, it's actually your spiritual signature. It's the divine fingerprint on your soul, proof that you weren't made to blend in, you were born to stand out. Now society, bless its heart, loves to sort people into tidy little boxes. You're either this or that. You fit in or you don't. But spirit warriors were never meant to fit. We're designed to expand, to break molds, not settle into them. You know why they think you're weird? Because you're tuned into frequencies they can't even hear. While they're scrolling for trends, you're meditating on truth. While they're chasing status, you're chasing purpose. While they're numbing out, you're waking up. That's not weird. That's revolutionary. Neuroscience even backs this up. Studies have shown that highly intuitive people, those who lean into creativity, empathy, and spiritual sensitivity, often activate different parts of the brain than the average person. That's right. Your so-called quirky thinking, it's your brain firing like a cosmic lightning storm. You see connections others miss. You feel deeply. You ask questions that make people squirm. And let's be honest, people fear what they don't understand, so they call it weird. But the truth is, it's wisdom. Your uniqueness is your weapon. The things that make you different are the exact things the divine realm encoded into your soul to fulfill your mission. You think agents of light were sent here to blend into the darkness? Not a chance. You're a walking contradiction to everything this upside-down world promotes. You laugh at things they cry about. You cry at things they mock. You find depth in silence, joy in simplicity, and power in stillness. You'd rather talk about quantum timelines than reality TV, and while some might roll their eyes at you, the truth is, you're ahead of the curve. Way ahead. The agents, the real ones, the ones moving in divine intelligence, they love this about you. They're not recruiting clones, they're not looking for cookie-cutter carbon copies, they're gathering originals. Spirit warriors with flair, funk, and fierce individuality. You were never meant to be normal. You were meant to be a limited edition, one of one, rare, royal, radiant. Think about nature for a second. No two snowflakes are alike. No two fingerprints are identical. Creation thrives on diversity, not duplication. So why would your spirit be any different? When you embrace your weirdness, you're not rebelling against the system. You're aligning with divine design. So the next time someone gives you that side eye or calls you too much or too different, don't shrink. Smile, tilt your crown, maybe even throw a little wink and say, "Thank you, I am different, that's the point." Because deep down, even the ones who mock you, they wish they had your courage. They wish they could dance to their own rhythm without shame. But they're still plugged into a system that penalizes authenticity. But you, spirit warrior, you're unplugged, you're raw, real, and rising. Let them laugh, let them whisper. That just means you're on the right frequency. Weird? Nah, you're chosen, you're cosmic, you're dangerously divine. Point 4. You've learned to trust the whispers. Remember those subtle nudges, those gut feelings, those perfectly timed coincidences that felt like the universe was whispering straight to your soul? That wasn't a glitch in the matrix, that was real. Those moments were the work of spiritual agents, unseen allies, divine messengers, and ancient watchers, reaching out to you in ways you couldn't always explain but deeply felt. It's as if the cosmos itself had tuned in specifically to your frequency, sending signals designed only for you to hear. These signs don't arrive randomly, they come to those ready to receive them, those who have already begun a sacred internal training. Spirit warriors don't just wake up one day with all the answers. No, their awakening unfolds gradually in quiet moments when logic said don't, but their spirit said go, and they went. That subtle courage, that faith in the invisible, is what sets them apart. It's why they aren't just believers, but active partners in a sacred mission beyond ordinary understanding. From a psychological perspective, this experience aligns closely with what scientists call intuitive cognition. This is a subconscious, lightning-fast mental process where your brain pieces together hidden patterns and signals from your environment without conscious effort. Intuition is like your brain running on autopilot, rapidly sifting through past experiences, subtle cues, and unspoken information to guide your decisions. Studies in neuroscience have shown that intuition involves brain regions like the amygdala and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, which work together to assess emotional relevance and weigh risks before your conscious mind even gets involved. So, when you had that gut feeling that saved you from a wrong crowd, or urged you to take a different route and avoid an accident, it was your brain's way of quickly analyzing data below your conscious awareness. But here's where science hits its limits. It can describe the mechanics, but it can't explain the miracle behind those moments. Those flashes of insight are also divine alerts, messages from a higher source that transcend mere instinct. Imagine yourself as an old-fashioned radio, dialed into the noise of everyday life, and then slowly, steadily, tuning into a sacred frequency beyond the static. When you finally locked onto that channel, you began to receive clear transmissions from spiritual allies. These aren't just mystical metaphors. There's a profound truth in feeling connected to a source larger than yourself. Every time you chose to trust that inner pull instead of waiting for external validation, you leveled up. That trust became your sword, slicing through doubt and distraction. That faith became your armor, protecting you against fear and skepticism. Spirit warriors don't fight with fists or weapons, they fight with discernment and intuition. They walk into rooms not guessing, but guided by a knowing deeper than logic. Even when doubt crept in, when friends urged you to be realistic, play it safe, or don't trust what you can't prove, you leaned in. That wasn't recklessness, it was spiritual leadership. Your soul was declaring, I was built for more than facts, I was built for faith. Now the agents you once only sensed are responding. Maybe you don't hear a booming voice from the heavens, but feel this instead. The path before you is widening. Synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that defy explanation, are sharpening and increasing in frequency. Instructions once murky become clearer and more detailed. Why? Because they trust you now, too. They see you're not here just to follow orders, but to co-create with the divine plan. You're no longer just asking for signs, you are the sign. The world around you notices a difference. You glow with a distinct energy and move with purpose. And those who observe you might wonder what changed. But you know the truth. You chose to listen when it made no sense, to follow the whispers when logic faltered. And now, everything is beginning to make divine sense. This journey you're on is both ancient and timeless, blending the mystical with the scientific, the unseen with the proven. It teaches that faith and intuition are powerful forces not opposed to reason but complementary to it. As you keep walking forward, remember this: the universe, your spirit allies, and your higher self, they are all broadcasting signals. When the world demands logic, move with knowing. When your gut whispers again, no matter how bizarre or inconvenient, follow it. Because the more you listen, the louder the signal grows. The spirit warrior's path is not easy, but it is sacred, and you were chosen to walk it. Keep trusting that pull, for it is the divine compass guiding you home. Point 5. You've chosen faith over fear. Here's a truth most won't tell you, spirit warrior. Fear isn't just a feeling, it's a force. It's invisible, yet it shapes destinies. It sneaks into your mind in the quiet moments, whispering doubts just loud enough to drown out your purpose. And in the spiritual realm, fear is not just a personal enemy. It's an agent of delay, confusion, and destruction. That's why it's known as the ultimate dream killer. It doesn't need to scream to ruin you, it just needs to make you hesitate. But you didn't just confront fear, you disarmed it with faith. You made a conscious, sacred choice to trust what cannot be seen, to follow a divine plan without needing all the answers in advance. That's not weakness, that's warrior-level strength. At some point on your journey, the shadows grew long. You stood at the edge of your life, staring into uncertainty, maybe even heartbreak, loss, or isolation. You were tempted to give up. That's when fear does its best work. When your spirit is tired, your vision is blurry, and your heart is cracked open. But in that moment, instead of folding, you reached for something higher. You chose faith. You took the leap, not because you were sure of the landing, but because you were sure of the calling. That's what separates the wanderers from the warriors. Trust in the unseen. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It's movement, energy, and momentum. It's stepping into the unknown with eyes wide open and a spirit on fire. Spiritual agents, those higher beings assigned to help guide, and witness the evolution of awakened souls, have been watching. Oh yes, spirit warrior, you're never really alone. These agents, call them angels, guides, ancestors, or watchers, have seen the moments you cried in secret and still kept walking. They've watched you turn away from safe, easy paths because your soul whispered, there's more for you. They've seen you risk comfort for growth, silence for truth, and solitude for alignment. You didn't choose the easy road. You chose the elevated one. And that's what makes you powerful. This isn't just about believing in God, it's about believing in your divine design. You're not just existing, you're evolving. Every time you walk through fear and choose faith, you become more of who you truly are. The staircase quote, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase," isn't poetic fluff. It's spiritual law. That first step activates destiny. It opens timelines, it shifts realities. It sends a ripple through the unseen and lets the agents know this one is awake. So yes, the agents are taking note. They're not just watching, they're aligning things in your favor because your energy aligns with divine flow. You've proven yourself, not by being perfect, but by being brave, not by having all the answers, but by trusting the one who does. And because of that, doors will open, protection will follow you, timing will accelerate. Why? Because faith is the fuel of miracles and your tank is full. Keep walking, spirit warrior. You're not crazy, you're chosen. Point 6, you're an unintentional teacher. You might not wear a robe or carry a chalkboard, but spirit warrior, don't get it twisted. You are a teacher of the highest kind. Not because you preach, but because you live. Your life is the classroom and your actions are the curriculum. The way you rise after life tries to knock you flat, the way you forgive when bitterness would be easier, the way you show up with integrity when no one's watching, that's the lesson. People are observing you even when you don't realize it. They're watching how you respond to challenges, how you carry pain without projecting it onto others, and how you glow without needing a spotlight. You are teaching them how to be strong without being hard, kind without being naive, and spiritual without being self-righteous. See, in the spiritual realm, warriors don't always look like warriors. You don't need armor or a sword. You have discernment, self-control, and empathy. These are your weapons. Your smile is your shield, your peace, your power. And even when you're just going about your day, buying groceries, answering emails, minding your business, there are people taking mental notes. Some are inspired, others are confused, a few are triggered, but all are learning. You've become a mirror they can't ignore, and that mirror is confronting them. It shows them where they are still wounded, still hiding, still pretending. You didn't ask for that role, but you've been chosen for it. And the agents, those assigned to monitor spiritual frequency, have seen it all. The ripple effect of your presence is loud in the spirit. You might never hear the full stories, but trust. Your resilience gave someone hope. Your patience softened someone's heart. Your boundaries showed someone that self-respect isn't aggression, it's alignment. The agents saw the way your gentle response disarmed a bitter soul. They saw how your silence spoke more truth than 1,000 sermons. And now, they're sending you a nod of respect, a quiet, divine thank you for being an example of what it means to walk with Spirit in a broken world. That's not small work, that's legacy-level impact. We live in a world obsessed with loudness, loud opinions, loud drama, and loud displays of success, but your teaching is different. It moves quietly through rooms and minds, planting seeds that bloom in people long after you've left the scene. That's sacred, that's strategy, that's Spirit-led influence. And whether you realize it or not, people are being healed just by being near your energy. That's why some are drawn to you without knowing why, and others resist you without knowing why, because light always reveals. And your light is doing more than shining, it's awakening. So keep being you, Spirit Warrior. You may never have a formal audience or applause, but you're making impact waves that the spirit world is applauding. You don't teach with a mic, you teach with your walk. And that, my friend, is more powerful than any sermon ever shouted. Point 7. You're ready for your next mission. Spirit Warrior, this is it. The moment everything has been building toward. Not just the hardships, not just the late-night tears or the early morning awakenings. No, this is the main event. The spiritual agents, those unseen divine guides, have been watching you. Not for entertainment, not out of pity, but out of strategy, because you were never just surviving, you were training. Every battle you've endured, every betrayal, setback, or soul-crushing disappointment was not a punishment, it was preparation. You've been molded, tested, stretched, and forged like a sword in fire, and now the agents are ready to come forward. Not as silent watchers, but as divine collaborators. You weren't chosen randomly. That gut feeling you've always had, that weird sense that people were watching, that time felt like it was speeding up or slowing down in your presence, that's real. Spiritually, it's called spiritual surveillance, and it's not paranoia, it's perception. Agents of light, angels, ancestors, and interdimensional guardians have been subtly steering your path. They couldn't interfere directly, not until you reached this level of awareness, but now they're showing themselves in synchronicities, dreams, repeating numbers, chills during conversations, or even that sudden sense of peace when you should be panicking. That's them. That's the signal. Training complete. Mission about to launch. Let's be real. You've noticed the shift. Foods you used to love taste dull now. Conversations that once entertained you feel empty. Your body feels more sensitive, your mind more alert, and your spirit more restless. That's not burnout. That's activation. The agents have upgraded your internal system to detect divine timing. It's why certain people are falling away from your life. They no longer match your frequency. Your circle didn't shrink by accident. It was divine downsizing. They had to clear the interference for your signal to come through strong. And here's the powerful truth. Spirit warriors don't hide. We were hidden. There's a difference. Hidden by a divine hand. Protected until prepared. Shielded until sharp enough to cut through illusions. Now you're no longer the secret. You're the solution. The agents are revealing their presence to you because the real mission, your calling, is about to begin. Whether it's creating, leading, healing, building, or breaking generational curses, your next assignment requires you to walk with full spiritual authority. They're not showing up to say, good job. They're showing up to say, let's work, because now you've earned access. You're not just divinely protected, you're divinely partnered. They need your hands, your voice, and your presence in this realm to anchor light in places that are still drowning in shadow. That's the weight of purpose. And only a trained soul, only a spirit warrior can carry it. The question is no longer, am I chosen? Because you already are. The real question now is, are you ready to act like it? When those forces of destiny make contact, everything shifts. There's no turning back to the old, smaller version of yourself. The illusions that once held you captive begin to dissolve. Suddenly the fog lifts and your mission becomes crystal clear. You start to notice the signs. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. Insights hit you with sudden clarity, and encounters with people who are key to your journey begin to unfold effortlessly. This isn't just happenstance. It's alignment with a greater plan, a divine orchestration that propels your life forward in ways that seem supernatural. But here's the catch. It's on you to say yes. You have to decide to step fully into this role, to claim your power and purpose unapologetically. This moment isn't simply a fleeting opportunity, it's a mandate. The time for hiding in the shadows or playing small is over. The light within you was never meant to be dimmed to fit anyone else's comfort zone. You're called to step out, fully armored in faith, fueled by relentless focus and guided by divine instruction. Think of yourself as a spirit warrior, equipped not only with strength but also with wisdom and purpose. Your soul is prepared, and the agents you need, whether they be mentors, allies, or spiritual guides, are ready to support you. Your mission? It begins right now, and it demands courage, clarity, and commitment. You're not just walking into your purpose, you're charging into it with fierce determination. This is a call to action for the chosen ones, the spirit warriors, who are awake to the deeper rhythms of life. Your path isn't a random string of events, it's a masterful design crafted by a higher intelligence with you as the brilliant protagonist. Those who have been watching from the spiritual realm, the agents, are now fully engaged. Their presence is felt in the synchronicities that catch your eye, the sudden downloads of wisdom that expand your mind, and the opportunities that seem almost too perfect to be coincidence. This is your cue to stay awake and remain aware, because your next orders are coming, and they will shape the rest of your journey. The path ahead may challenge you, but it will also elevate you beyond what you ever imagined. So, spirit warrior, are you ready to step up and work with them? Because the truth is, they have been ready to work with you all along. Remember, your life is not just a series of random moments, it's a beautifully crafted plan unfolding right before your eyes. This is your awakening, your call to action. Embrace it fully. If this message resonates with you, show your commitment by hitting that like button, subscribing for more spiritual insights, and sharing in the comments what you believe your next mission is. Your journey has just begun. Peace.